Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you are new here. My name is Brittany, and in today's video I am going to show you a couple different ways that you can use the Hobonichi Weeks. With Hobonichi Day right around the corner, I'm sure that everybody who loves stationery and using Hobonichi products is going to be rushing to get their hands on the latest items. And while I have decided on how I'm going to be using my 2025 Hobonichi Weeks, I thought I would go through my current one, or my 2024. It's my first weeks that I've ever gotten before, and just show you guys what's been working, what's not been working, and some of my favorite spreads. I've already talked a little bit about how I was tracking in the beginning here my moods, and that didn't really work out that well. It was about 2.5 months. I didn't really like that. I do have a larger writing style, so this was challenging for me to write that small. So that was part of the problem, but then I also didn't like how I removed it from my bullet journal. So that went back in my bullet journal and I 86'd it here. I haven't played around with this anymore, but excuse me. Something that you could do if you like to work out or do hikes or anything like that, you could use these days here to track how many steps you get in for your day. So it could look something like this. I'll just do a couple days here. And then that way you have how many steps each day you took, and then you could do a tally at the end of the month, and then you could get your average. You could put your goal up here. So let's say you wanted to do 10,000 steps a day, which I believe works out to be 5 miles. Or something else that you could do is, if you are, let's say, trying to get pregnant, you could put your temperatures here. That could help you with ovulation. You could also do a little line of gratitude, like a 1-word gratitude tracker here. You could also put emotions. So I tried to do that a little bit. I have moods and emotions here to mix things up a little bit. So this is something that I'm going to play with in 2025 and see if I can come up with something that I like. And then for the actual calendar, I didn't really get into this that much because I'm more focused on my Hobonichi Techo calendar, but I think I'm going to do something with this in 2025. So let's get into what I did do, and I'll share some of those spreads with you and what I like. I do want to say that for the week spread, I started doing gratitude every day, and that worked for a little while, but then I didn't like having that out of my bullet journal either. So you just have to play around with it. And I know that some people want to have everything figured out when they get into a journal, and they just want it to be perfect. But as I'm learning on my journaling journey, you really cannot go into a journal expecting perfection, because it should be a safe space for you to explore, to play around, to try new things, and to get what's in your head on a page, no matter what order it's in. So I'll show you a little bit of that. I decided to go ahead and move forward in my weeks and just do some templates. None of this stuff is like true to me. It's kind of like make-believe type stuff, but I just wanted to write stuff down so I could show you. And I tried to do something different from October 1 all the way to the end to give you guys an idea of some different spreads and layouts and some things that I think will work really well for this setup. And they're just my favorite. There's so many more than this, what I'm going to show you, but these ones are the ones that really stood out to me. So I liked how, if you look at these little dots here, I'll see if you can see them. Those are great guides for dividers where you can get more out of this section. So I just went to the far right dot and started to make like a tick off list where you can tick the boxes. And this was like a task column, and then the left 2 columns I just left together, and that was for tasks, things that were maybe meetings or appointments on the left. And then over on the grid or graph side of the paper, I have the day time separated for like time block sections that are most common to maybe your routine or your work schedule or your school schedule. And then this would be the same Monday through Friday. So that's why it's only there once, because this would be for things that you do the same at the same every day at the same time, to kind of keep track of that. I also included a weekly task list, so things that you want to get done in this week but you weren't sure when. So let's say you knew that you needed to work out but you didn't know if you were going to do it all 5 days of the week. I just put it over here. Church and Bible study is usually Sundays and Wednesdays, but I do know that some people do Bible study on Thursdays. Some people do church Saturday and Sunday, so that's why I put it over on the weekly task, because that would be for people who maybe go to 2 churches, or maybe they study online and study in person like I do. And then I also have this little colorful divider here, which I think helps to break up the paper or the page. And I have some like house chores, the days of the week, and then I just check them off with dots. And then a little fun section at the bottom for a quote or like a mantra for the day or week. That's one way you could do it. And I decided to do this too, not only because I wasn't sure how I was going to use my Hobonichi Weeks this year, but I had a pen pal reach out to me recently and ask how I use mine. And because I had only really practiced 3 or 4 different ways, I thought, well, I need to look into this and see what else is available for this particular journal system. And so these were what I came up with. For the next example, for the entire week, I left all the columns together and I just have it as tasks, and then I used a highlighter to put emphasis on the days where there were most important tasks due. I have on the reverse a meal plan for the week, and then a meal prep schedule. And what I mean by meal prep is, so in my household, our family is my husband and myself. So these are our initials, and that's who's going to do what each day. So for protein shakes, my husband would do it Monday through Friday for himself. I would do it Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And then for the bento boxes, he needs it Monday through Friday. I need it just Saturdays and Sundays. And then as a reminder to myself, it would be salads Monday through Friday to make sure that I get a salad in. But you could definitely change that however you wanted to. Then I have a little section for work. Again, that would either be a repeat of your most important tasks from your week, or it would be where you could put your most important tasks so they're not mixed up in the jumble that you would put over here. And then I have a section for school if you're in school. This could be for your kids also. Let's say your kid has a spelling test on Friday. You could put that down here as a reminder to practice with them. Or let's say your child has a game coming up and you're supposed to do the carpool. You could put that down there. And then I left this section here for a doodle box, just so that I would allow for myself to have like some mindfulness play, where I could just have that time for myself and that space for myself. Then the next one I wanted to try out, I decided to go through and make all 3 columns stand out. And what I really like about this one is that it tracks the weather, the high temperature for the day and the low temperature of the day. And then I doodle the type of weather. So if it's a sunny day, I just did a little sunshine real quick. It rained that day, rain cloud, etc. On the middle column, that's where I decided to do the total steps for the day. And then on the far left column is where I decided to put the tasks for the week. Now, if you wanted to do like an hourly schedule, you could definitely write smaller and do like a highlight right here. I think I do have an example of that at some point, but this way you would know what you need to do on the most important hours of your day. But then you could also change these columns up to whatever you like. You don't have to do the weather if you don't want to, or your steps. But that's another way to get a lot of information out of this section. And then on the reverse of this one, I just did the top section. I did it in threes. The top section is for habits. I have the habit here that I would like to track, and then the days of the weeks, and then I just did a dot inside the grid for if I completed it, and it's empty if I didn't. And then for the sleep log, this might look a little confusing, but basically this is the days of your week going vertical, and then horizontal is the hours that you would get for that day of the week. So on Monday I got 6 hours of sleep, on Tuesday I got 8 hours of sleep, etc. And then the last section are meals, and BLD stands for breakfast, lunch, dinner. And then you would just have that all planned out for your Monday through Friday, and then your weekend is combined. Or you could just do one line for Saturday, one line for Sunday, and only list your dinner. Completely up to you. But I really liked that one. I think that this is a more simple layout because you have sections, even sections on both sides. The next spread that I really liked, again, just does the right column, brings emphasis to it. And I used, to do all this color blocking, these Micron Pigma Sakura Archival ink pens. I have a couple different colors like green, light brown, dark brown, blue, etc. You can get them in several colors, and I think that that helps to break things up. So I just divided the right column from the other two columns, and over here I have like holidays or days off that I need to remember. So you could put over here that this is, say, Christmas, so you don't have anything going on because it's that holiday. Or you could say Sally's birthday, or you could say parents' anniversary. But for this example I put that it was holiday leave, so there's no class in session. And then for the left two columns, I decided that that was where I was going to do a tick off box or a check box with items that I wanted to do outside of my normal schedule. So I'm not, in this spread, I'm not using this for like the things I have to do every day, like work, pick up the kids, anything like that. These columns are going to be used for additional items that I don't want to forget to do. So donating items there, and then big brother, big sister meeting. Then on the reverse of this one, I did an extension to the dividers of each day, and that's where I have the high and low for the temperatures, because I really like tracking the weather. And then again, I did 3 big blocks, and the first one's for tasks. The second one is for sales, so this would be for somebody who might be an entrepreneur or have like an online business of some type. I just came up with a couple different ways to have sales. And then down here I have this section saved or reserved for shipments. So whatever you would be selling, you would then have your international shipping, local shipping, and then assuming that you would have a box at the post office, you'd pick up your mail. So that's another great little way to do it. The next one that I really like is a little busy, but I think that it has a lot of information that some people might find helpful. So again, dividing the far right column on the weeks, and here's where I'm putting the breakfast, lunch, dinner. I do one-word descriptions with the exception of the turkey club. And then these little, excuse me, these little blue teardrops are for your water hydration. Excuse me. So I think the daily recommendation right now is 8 classes. I think it's been that way for a while, but so I have 8 little droplets here, and then you just color them in as you finish them. And then on the 2 left columns, I have, again, items that you're doing in addition to your regular schedule. So I'm not using it for anything that I would do every single day, like work, school, what have you. This would be all for extra stuff. So having lunch with a friend, or Bible study, dropping off the dry cleaning, things like that. And then on the reverse on this one, I have scripture for the week, something that I want to memorize, or just something new that I learned that I want to remember and reflect on. And then I have this little kind of like a task or hobby tracker, just from Monday through Friday. And here in the highlight section, you can put the hours of the day and then what you want to do for those hours of the day. And then going back vertically, I have a little list here of things to buy, and then reminders for the next week. So get tires on vehicle and oil changed, and then a section for notes. So anything that would come up during the week when I'm doing these other activities that I want to remember or that I want to move into the next week, I would put in that note section. So this would be nice if you have a lot of extra activities from your regular schedule, but also if you want to use part of your week spread as reminders or trackers. And you could definitely move this around to where it would be horizontal and you could read it better. I just did that because I liked the spacing. And then this one is a more simple example. I like it because, again, it's using the 3-column feature of your week, and I just use each one for a meal of the day. So breakfast, lunch, dinner, and then I just write what I want to have. It would be great for meal planning. And then what you could do, if you're a big meal planner, is on the opposite over here. You could have your grocery list, but I decided to just put a reading tracker. So I divided the first column, or equivalent of a column, on the left to be the book that I want to read that week and who it's by, and then off to the right of each of those I have a space blocked out for my favorite quote from the book or my personal reflection on the book. So for example, for The Outlander Kitchen by Teresa Carol Sanders, I want to remember the buttermilk lamb chops with rosewater mint sauce recipe. So I just wrote that down, but that's an example, another example of how to use the grid side. And then another way that you could use this Hobonichi Weeks is you could use your week boxes to list the highlight from the day, list something that you want to let go of for that day, or or list something that you're grateful for that day. I think that that's really helpful because let's say you are trying to journal, but you don't have room to, say, take your journal with you whenever you're out and about, running errands, at work, what have you. But this fits in whatever you use to travel with. So you could use this and have these little prompts here as like starter lines for whatever you'll come home and write in your journal later. I really like that feature. And then of course, as I mentioned before, you could use the whole day section for writing about what you're grateful for. You could also use it for your mood tracking or emotion tracking, so you could write about how you're feeling. Or you could use it for a personal victory or win that you've had that day or week. So you could do something different every single day of the week and then reserve Sundays for your personal victory for the week, which I like that idea. And then I really, really loved using the opposite grid or a graph section for a brain dump. I think that that's absolutely amazing. I also liked how you could have reminders for bills. I usually pay my bills a month in advance, but sometimes you might get like a surprise bill or just something that you forgot about, and that would be nice if you could look ahead for the month and then like write this little list in for the weeks that you know that those bills are going to hit, and then whenever you flip to that week, you'll be like, oh yeah, now I remember. And then conveniently I have a reminder or remember section, and I have like a little pink bow, because you know how they say you should tie a ribbon on your finger as a reminder that you're supposed to remember something. I just thought that that was nice. So those are some more things that I liked. And then this next example is dividing the columns again, but moving the far right column to the middle of what the regular column would be. So if your dot's right here, that would be where your regular column would go, and then you just go into the middle of that and make your line, and then you put your weather on the far right, and then when you make your column for the far left, you just go in to your middle column one block. You can see the grid from the back of the page to guide you, and then that's how you're going to make your little space for your check marks. So here your middle column would be for tasks or things that you don't want to forget to do, like take the dog to the dog park or pick up the kids from daycare, going on a hike with your husband or friend. And then I have that little mindful space on the left where you can do a doodle, or you can write a quote, or just have some time to scratch something out. I like that setup as well. Another example of how to use the graph side would be for writing out your daily affirmations. So something that you want to remember all day long, every day, all week. You could put that there, and that's a nice little visual of something you want to remember. You could also write out your moods like this and connect the dots for the week, and you could see the spikes or the highs and low of your week. And then the nice thing that I like about tracking or logging your moods and emotions like this is when you connect the dots and you kind of get the little highs and lows, it'll help you pinpoint, like, okay, on Wednesday I was excited, but then Thursday I was sad. You'll be able to see the differential there in your moods, and then you can look in, like, say, another journal where you write about your day and say, all right, well, that explains why I had that, you know, the big jump. And of course, you'll get a better high and low spike differential if you organize your moods and emotions differently than how I have. Right now I have like positive, negative, about every other one, so that it gives a larger spike, and I did that so that you could see it better. But like if you are actually doing it, I would recommend that you have your positives all together and then your negatives or neutrals all together. This way you get a better spike differential. Then you can also track habits. I did show another way to track habits, but I like this one as well, where you're just outlining the box, and then as you get one of your habits done, let's say you volunteered on Monday and Wednesday, you would just put a check mark. You would fill in the box or put a dot in it. Let's say you read on Tuesday and Thursday, and then let's say you drank all your water Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. So there's a couple different ways that you could track that off. And then I again left a section with notes, but this time I decided to do a little bit more creative outline, just to kind of add some color and to break up from the brown, because I thought that that would draw my attention to it more. You could actually do all of this in the same color. It's completely up to you. I just think that putting one specific color to a specific task kind of groups things nicely, and it allows for you to get familiar with, okay, my moods are going to be checked off in blue, and my habit's going to be checked off in green. Things like that could be helpful to you, especially if you have a little bit of OCD and you like familiarity, or you associate colors with a task. But for other people, it might not even make a difference. So really play around with it and see what feels best to you. And then another spread is this kind of color blocked layout. I liked this spread because of the color blocking, but also because the day, or the week I should say, is busted up from your Monday through Friday work week, which I really like that, and then the weekend is kept separate. You could do this a couple of different ways. This one I feel like is pretty simple, where you have every other day kind of color blocked out, and then you have the divider line. I just think that it looks really like clean and neat. And then on the reverse, you have like a companion spread. So some of the examples I've showed you, the graph page doesn't necessarily go with the week page, but this one I think it goes together really well because of the color blocking, and then I kind of have similar things going on here. So you can block out your week that you're in. So week 7, you could list your goals for the week. I have 10,000 steps a day, fast 2 days of the week, memorize some scripture. Whatever goals you're reaching for that week, go ahead and list them there. And then I just have a groceries list. And I realize that this is spelt wrong. It should be I-E-S. I probably have all kinds of spelling errors through here because I did this kind of quickly, but you get the idea. So there's your little grocery list there. And then down here at the bottom, you have this little division duo of lines. I have like a packing list. So for this week, we're going to go on, let's pretend that this hike here is going to be like a camping trip. And so this would be all the things that we would want to remember to take on the trip. You could use that for vacations. You could use that for like a kid's sleepover, anything like that. So this is a good space for you to put a packing list if you're going somewhere that week. And then of course you could decorate it as well with stickers or little doodles, like a little camping background, just to kind of like brighten it up a little bit. Alright, and then I decided to end out my samples with a holiday spread. So, holidays are coming up. I'm sure people might have already started to plan a little bit or make travel arrangements. Maybe you've started shopping. So you could use your graph space for holiday shopping lists. You could also combine it with your holiday grocery list. So instead of just having like your usual weekly groceries, like your lunch stuff, your maybe fruits and vegetables for dinners, this could be specifically 4 items for your holiday meal. And then this way you have those two side by side. And then for your weeks, I have this alternating between reminders, tasks, and gratitude. So the blue, I have things that I'm grateful for, and then the red is for reminders and tasks and things that I need to pick up from the store. But those were the ones that stood out to me that I really liked, that I think would work really well. Go ahead and tell me which one was your favorite in the comments below, or if you'd like to make a suggestion for how you think the layout would work best. Go ahead and add that. I'm very curious to see how you guys use your Hobonichi Weeks, if you use them. And if you don't, then just let me know if you'd like what system you are using for these type of things that you'd like to track. I hope that you enjoyed this and learned something that you might want to utilize, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Bye!